Yeah, Coach, just wondering about, Wyatt and, him going on the list and you guys pretty much probably having to go most of the week without practicing with Wyatt. What impact will that have on your line and your game prep?
Yeah, Mary Kay, we have contingency plans and we have a depth chart, so we'll work some other guys in there and then make a determination later in the week if Wyatt's able to play in the game. But until then, we'll work some other guys in at that spot.
And can you say if Chris Hubbard's going to work there a little bit, or?
Yeah, I can tell you that. I mean, he's done that before, so Hub would be the next guy in there.
Okay, and just real quick, Wyatt. What can you say about what Wyatt has given you so far this season?
Yeah, he's been giving us some really valuable reps. Very physical player. We've been without him at times this season, and Hub went in there and did a nice job. So we'll see how it plays out. But obviously, Wyatt is a good player, and looking forward to getting him back out there when he's ready.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Tom Withers is next.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, Coach. Anything new with Denzel?
Nothing new. Wasn't out there today. Still working through it, and we'll they'll update me daily.
Got you. And I know you're not in the business necessarily of making sure your guys get publicity, but your game was moved now from that 1 o'clock to an 8 o'clock kick, national TV audience. Are you glad at least, during this run, Kevin, you guys are getting some attention finally?
My mind doesn't really go there, Tom.
I know that.
They tell me where we're playing, when we're playing, and who we're playing.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. We'll go to Dan Lobby.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about something you said in that video of your post-game speech that got tweeted out. You mentioned the Who Loves Football drill and pointed out Kareem Hunt. Can you kind of enlighten us on that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't remember where I got that from somebody. I didn't make it up. But you just talk about anytime the offense turns the ball over, you find out who loves ball and who's going to go get the defender on the ground. And Kareem was not going to let him score. Donovan Peoples-Jones was flying on the other side, Andy Janovich. So that's just what we've always called it. I've referenced that to the players before, and proud of Kareem and how he responded there.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Dale Ryder, you're up.
Hey, Coach. Did you watch the game last night live, or did you wait till this morning to watch it? And just what were your general takeaways of where Baltimore is at and really how far they have come since you faced them in week 1?
Yeah, I did some TV scouting, and then I watched it again this morning. And, we're still in the infancy of game planning with this extra day here. So really had to look at the tape from an offensive, defensive, special team angle and figure out what they're doing, what's different, what's the same. So we'll still pour over that and make some determinations for the game plan moving forward. But obviously, we understand the challenge. We understand the team that's coming in here is very well coached, very talented.
I know you take the 1 day, 1 game at a time type of approach. You're coming off a big win against Tennessee, and the games get bigger from here on out through the rest of the month. And then hopefully you guys get to play into January. Just, do you change your messaging to your team at all as the pressure kind of gets ramped up and the importance of each one of these games gets larger as you get closer to the finish line here?
I think messaging to the team varies every week. There's always something that I'm trying to get across to the team. But in terms of, this game's bigger than the last, they all feel big to me.
Thanks, Gerald. Next is Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, it seems like they've called more intentional groundings this year. Number one, have you noticed that? Do you think they're calling it tighter than they used to?
I don't think so. I think we've had an inordinate amount of them. I know the one, I forget what game it was at home, was very close. But I can help Baker out in a couple of those situations. Schematically, some things we can do better there. But I thought there was I couldn't tell you if there's been more, Scott.
Well, then the one Sunday, is there anything Baker can do when he's got that free guy in his face? Or is he just
Yeah, you can. And again, this is a coaching thing. It's you can find a place to dirt that. We can do some different things. We had a mental error there by, I won't name names, but it contributed to the penalty.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Scott. We'll go to Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Kevin. We ask you about Nick Chubb all the time, but he got a couple things recently. He's been nominated for your for the Sportsmanship Award and then the Ed Block Courage Award yesterday. I was just wondering what you think of that, and we obviously see every time you guys play what Nick brings on the field, but just how important is everything else that Nick Chubb brings to you guys?
Yeah, I thought those two distinctions are great for Nick, well deserved. The great thing about the Ed Block Courage Award is it's voted on by your teammates. So that just tells you what kind of teammate Nick is and what his guys feel about him. I think you guys know how I feel about him. He's the ultimate team player.
And I'm wondering if you knew all along that you had the right personalities with Nick and Kareem, that they'd be able to do what they're doing. Stump Mitchell talked to us last week about how he thinks they're getting 1,000 yards apiece. He wants them to, but I'm just wondering, when did it hit you that works for each of those guys and that they have the selflessness that you need to do that?
Yeah, Nate, obviously I didn't know those two guys at all. So you rely on the people in the building that have been around them, and they've been as advertised in that regard.
Thank you, Nate. We'll go to Zach Jackson.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you about your D-line. You got some experience, you got some characters there. I just want to know what you like about that group and what you need about that or from that group on the field here these last 4 games.
Yeah, there are some characters in that room. Coach Kiffin has his work cut out for him in those on those Zoom calls and out on the practice field. Yeah, I think that they're playing hard. You see in this last game making plays, Sheldon making huge plays early. So we need them to continue to be explosive, penetrating, and really the job of a D lineman is glorious at times when you get those sacks, and then other times you're taking on a double team so someone else can make a play. And that's just the nature of that position.
Did you know Sheldon at all from your year together?
Yeah, we spent a year together, but I'm coaching on offense. He's playing on defense.
Thanks.
Jeff Shadell has our next question.
Hey, Kevin, how much better is your team, and in what specific areas is your team better than this first game against Baltimore?
We're just trying to be one game better than last week, really, Jeff. I mean, it's hard for me to go all the way back to that week. Obviously, we'll go back and look at the tape because of the opponent, but we're just trying to make subtle improvements each week. And I think this is the time of the season in December when you have to constantly be getting better and you got to be getting stronger, which is why I think the lift work that we got today is as important as anything we're going to do today. So we're just trying to constantly stress to our guys that we got to get better. We have to get stronger throughout December.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, you told us last week that you are not the thought police, but I'm just wondering, what you thought of a bunch of your players taking to Twitter the other night after the Steelers got upset to basically say, I think Miles' tweet was something like, the Steelers may have opened the door, and then everybody a lot of guys followed on from there. So what are your thoughts on that whole little sequence?
Yeah, I'm not on social media, thank God, Mary Kay. So I'll take your word for it, but I'm going to keep the focus on what we're doing day to day in this building.
But you work so hard to get these guys to just take it one day at a time and to not to look too far ahead and all that kind of stuff. So when you know of something like that, I mean, you just let it go and let them have their fun and enjoy these moments that they're having right now, or do you feel the need to address that in any way?
I would tell you if I address anything, I'll keep it internal. But in regards to our players, I think they know what we're about, and that what we're about is working. So I tell you that because we just came off the field. I thought the guys got some really good work in. They understand what is so important about our preparation is that we're continually grinding on it. And I think the guys get that message from me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. We'll go to Daryl Ryder. This will be our last question for Coach.
Hey, Coach. I know you don't want to recognize it, and there's a lot of football you guys still have to play. But the fact of the matter is, what you've accomplished to this point has been historic in some respects. It hasn't been done around here in a very, very long time. So my question to you is now that you guys are going to start getting this national attention, your next 2 games now are going to be in prime time. Why do you feel, or how do you feel that your team is ready for that spotlight, to handle it in a positive way, and, be ready for prime time when it comes?
Yeah, we played, second game of the year was in prime time. It's under the lights. It's still 60-minute game. I think the guys understand we got a big game coming up, really good opponent, well coached, but we got plenty to concern ourselves with, and really the time of the game is not of our concern.